What's up, guys? We're gonna brobeatz. Today I'm showing you guys how to make complex chords and catchy melodies. If you guys ever subbed our radio terms on, do so because those help it a lot. Let's hop right into it. So BPM, I got 122, 121. It doesn't really matter. Usually what you can do is just right click, tap, and just tap out a BPM that you like or whatever you're feeling right. That's pretty much what I do. So for the scale, we can run, since we're gonna be focused on melody stuff, we can run with a A minor because it is all the white notes. And it doesn't really matter because they're pretty much the same formula, right? If you use a minor, so you can just transpose. So let's go ahead and get started with our first instrument. All right, so let's go ahead and throw down some complex chords. But first, we need to go ahead and throw down our foundation or our bass line. And this is the VST I'm using for those who want to know. Simple. So for this, so that we can be more free and kind of like open up the chords and stuff, I like to use fifths. Okay, so if you don't know how to make a fifth, you can come up here and go to stamps for the easy way. The other way, the manual way, you just skip 6 spaces so you can place your note right here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, place, and then you have the fifth. Okay, so you could just use the regular chord, right? But you kind of have a forced sound somewhat. So what I like to do is leave this here, and then from this fifth note, you can create a chord upward, right? So that's the first step. And then now you just play around with the octave. So we can pull this note down and we can just slide this over and just slide these all over. And the order is up to you. I'm just being generic right now. So actually, let's go over here. So if we want to finish out this chord, right? Instead of using this again, which you can do, but you want to reset it on this half so that it's in harmony, right? Because all this is in harmony with this chord. So then we reset it, and then you could do a fifth here actually again to make it easy. You can pull that down, right? And now you can have a bass line. Right, sounds pretty good. Now if you don't want to use that note, you can start inserting the actual chord, and if you want to use this instead, you can, right? It's up to you, but I like this one, so I'm gonna use this one. I like the sound of that. Oops. All right, so that is the bass line, the foundation. Again, this is the most important part, like 100%. If you miss this part, you're gonna mess up everything else, unless you already know what you're doing. But yeah, so let's go ahead and create chords out of this. Okay, so now I want to go over how to make a complex chord. So I'm gonna just go over to its own little place because I want people to be able to actually like click on the chapter so they can see this. So let's use our A. So I'm gonna just kind of visually put it out for you so you can kind of see it how I see it. So if we make a chord, just a little A minor, right? If you notice, we have spaces in between within the scale. So what people forget is you can actually use these notes too. Okay, and this is what, when you start pulling things up an octave, this is what makes it look complex. But really it's just this but spread out. So I'm gonna make these smaller just so we can kind of know that these are like the extra notes. So even when you pull it up this way, you can use all of these notes. So if we pull this up, right, and I'm just pulling this one up too, just so you can know, we pull it up an octave, and then you could, you know, throw that one down, right? And then if you want to use the same note here and say, hey, let's make a chord out of this one backwards, right? You skip this note, place, right? And then maybe you're like, okay, I want to pull this note up, right? And let's pull it up an octave like that. And let's take this E, okay, and then let's pull this up an octave, okay? And then if you want to, you can make a chord out of it. You can see you can get a beautiful chord just by that. But if you notice, it's really all just this. That's really our entire chord. It's literally just this repeating, okay? And of course you can add other notes and stuff, but this is how you can kind of make complex chords easily. All right, and then of course you do this with your different roots. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually apply this to these. All right, so let's go ahead and make these chords. So with this, just make a chord all the way up while keeping that technique I showed you in mind too, right? Because if you run into like trouble, you can always fall back on this, right, with these notes in between. So let's pull this up an octave. Let's pull this G. All right, and then here, let's go up until we hit this. Let's pull that G up. Okay, so instantly that sound is super weak. So I'm gonna add another note. So this is where we can kind of default to our little trick here. You can use one of these notes. So not all the time will the notes work, but I'm gonna use this A since it's the root note anyway. So we'll know that it'll sound good by, you know, just because it's the root. Okay, and then simply just for the rest, it's the same thing. All right, you can do this, pull that up. You want to make a chord backwards, you can too, right? So we can throw that in there, and then let's just throw this one all the way up, delete that note. All right, simple as that. Over here, same thing, it's just the same thing. But if you notice, the only reason it's sounding good is because it's foundation, right? This is just brain dead stuff, right? It's just literally just copying. I'm just making the chord all the way up, right? Literally. Okay, stuff like that. Let's pull that up so this is the same. All right, so now we have some nice chords to work with, and I'll just play it all the way through. Okay, so let's go ahead and we can layer this, and then we can focus on our little melody. All right, so now we're gonna move on to our melody. So for our pad real quick, I went ahead and just layered the piano melody here, and this is just like some extra sounds, and it's the preset. Okay, so for our melody, or our catchy melody, right? What you want to do first, this is the very first thing, is figure out your lead tone. Now 9 times out of 10 it's just going to be the top notes, and these are the notes you want to kind of go back to, right? And I'll explain what I mean by that. So we can copy these lead tones, and a lead tone is the strongest tone in your chord, right? So it's the notes you hear the most out of every note in the chord. Okay, and it's very important that you get this right. Let's go here, is paste them. So pretty much what you want to do is kind of go back and forth between these notes. So let's say you do something like this. Right, so you're just kind of going back from one of these notes, or this may not sound good within this, but like something like this. Right, just going back between these notes, and if you want to switch them, you can. You can see it sounds good no matter what. Now obviously you gotta sauce it up. You can't just do this generic stuff, you gotta make it unique. So let's go ahead and do that. So you can kind of start anywhere, but after this this is like the fun part, but after this point you want to kind of get it together and make something consistent. So I'm gonna show you that. So let's do a little chord down here. Let's just make this chord here, and then we can kind of throw in some of these notes. Let's go up. Okay, so now at this point, these last 3 bars, this is kind of where you want to get it together. You don't want to keep doing a bunch of random stuff, because you want it to be catchy. You want it to be simple and catchy. So what we want to do is just find a rhythm and kind of do what I showed you earlier about kind of going back from one note to another. So easily, I mean, we could just do the most generic one. I want these to be a little bit shorter. All right, and we can just keep messing around with these notes. So I'm gonna quantize this. So this is the same pattern we want to keep, okay? But just change the notes up. So we could delete this one and then make a chord backwards, just so it's in harmony. And then over here, we can take this G, right? Just so it's not starting on the same note. Take this G and use this note and come back to the G, right? Let's play the whole thing. All right, now we got a little catchy melody. So over here, this is where you can really have fun, because all this is made. Now you just got to capitalize on it. So let's copy this over, and then we may need to adjust, but Over here, let's kind of mess around. So let's use this A. Let's kind of bounce from the G to the A again. And then kind of mess around with some music. Let's make a chord from here. I gotta make sure I quantize these. So this is a chord, right? So this will, everything in here will work, right? So now we just have fun with it. Let's make a chord backwards. All right, so what I want to do here is do a flam. So let's do this real quick. Oops. Okay, I like that. Just move this over. Right, and you just kind of adding what you want here, right? If you want to start adding like a bunch of other notes, I don't know. It's up to you, right? How you want to do it. I think that's it. I think we're good here. I already spent enough time on this part, so hopefully this all makes sense, especially for people that's like new and never seen my videos before. So let's play the whole thing. Oh wait, let's copy this over so we get the whole melody. And this is just like a little pluck sound. I don't know. I just thought it would sound good with the piano. All right, so that is the melody and everything. So now what I want to do is just kind of make an outro, and that's why I have drums here, because really I could just stop it here, but I want an outro this video. I haven't made an outro in a minute. So let's go ahead and just add some bass and a little bit of drums. All right, so now we're just gonna add our drums and our bass. And this is our bass, so I'll just turn all these knobs to 0 just to get like a sub. And I might fast forward through this just because it's not the point of the video. I just need an outro. And then I'll throw some effects on and stuff, and I'll show all that. So I might speed up this part. So yeah. Okay, so here are the drums. It's not anything crazy, it's just super simple. Just a simple little beat. So here it is. I just had addictive drums, and I just added this because I didn't want to manually do like percussion or anything. So I just added, I searched snare because I couldn't find what I wanted, and I went to this one, the number 4 one, and it was the smoothest one that matched up with what I had. So I like that one. So now I'm gonna just add some effects, and I'm gonna show you the effects that I use just to kind of like solidify this. All right, so for effects real quick, for the drums, I don't really do too much. I just put them here so I can mute them. And then for these 3, I just added the same Valhalla preset, pretty much, just some little delay, just to make it a little bit more ambient. And then of course panning and EQing, and you just do that by sound, right? You just take out some of the bass if it's too much bass, boost some frequencies, etc. Now the only sound that was actually changed was the piano, and this is like a little custom preset. This is the preset, and I don't know, I just turned this up, and then it sounded cool, so I'm gonna just play it by itself, off and on. I don't know, I really like the way that sound. So yeah, there's the preset, and I guess we can play it all together. Now for the master, I just boosted some of the highs a little bit, and then I added this satin tape machine, and this is the preset I chose. I just like the way it sounded in the low end, and then like a virtual tape machine. And I just want to try out some like just some different stuff, some different combo stuff, rather than using a fruity splitter and stuff. and then I'll turn this to 30 IPS. Okay, and then on this, I found this preset. So side story, this preset, this thing makes it sound way cooler. So, and of course we got the soft clipper, right? So I'm gonna play it with this and show you what this sounds like. So. Like, you hear that? I don't know if you have this plug-in, try it. I don't know if you can really hear it, but it's like this like high pitch reverb in there. I don't know, but that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.